Hello, everybody. Welcome back to NLC Division 2. We're into our fourth and maybe final game of this best of series. We've got 5 games. Well, best of 5. You know how best of series works. It's fine. I'm Viper, M-Test alongside me. Nativz 2-1 up. Are we going to see 5 games?
I mean, we talked about it in the past, right, Viper? Like, blue side seems to be the way to go here. Like, every single team that has played blue side has won, and now we're gonna see rugby again on the blue side. So is that a sign that we're gonna see a 5th game? I'm not sure. I still believe in my boys in rugby. I think they're gonna somehow come out on top. It looks grim for them right now, and the question is now. We talked about how you need to like kind of answer. You need to make answers, right, and kind of solve the puzzle in the draft for the series. And I'm just curious. I thought the Scion was just the best pick in this game, honestly, because again, Camera, he was playing the Vex. He's not able to dish out so much damage onto the tank, and regardless of what item Scion builds, he just doesn't have the capabilities of killing him. And the question is then, like, do you just ban? You don't really just ban Scion, right? You just have to draft a bit more versatility, maybe more just AP damage, raw AP damage, and I think the question is just, for me, it's not as easy to answer this time around, where what should they answer with? How they were just playing the fights kind of worse, and then they got caught, and then Nativz got Nash, and then the game was over. Like, it's kind of rough.
It was the question of, when you talked about these problems, right? You were like, we need to puzzle solve. The problem for game 2 for Nativz was Stumpy, like firmly the issue. And they were like, well, we're just going to shut down Stumpy super early. We're going to take away his Urgot, put him onto the Gnar, where they're going to gank him repeatedly until he's not a threat. And that proved to be very successful. And it wasn't a perfect performance from Nativz. Munster, as we said, had a couple of good team fights. Even at the end, that Baron fight was massive for them in order to try and get this game going in their favor once again. But it ultimately wasn't enough. So the question being, what do Nativz want to do here in terms of adaptation themselves? Because Munster will say, right, okay, they played through Stumpy, now let's maybe play through bot side. Let's get Merbs and Baloo going a little bit more, even though Yopper and Clocks have had especially Clocks have had a pretty decent series so far. Maybe not grabbing headlines outside of game number 1, but sending the things back down towards the bot side, going back to the Munster rugby we know and love from the regular season could be the decision. But then, are you going to have a Stumpy who doesn't really contribute, as we saw in that 3rd game where he wasn't really able to ever really do anything?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I think Snille was, for sure, is playing a ganky jungle that game, despite he was playing Graves. He was just constantly on the top side, shutting down Stumpy, as you mentioned. That was just the key for them, to make sure that he's not ahead, he can't do whatever he wants. On the other side, though, I do feel like Rugby, they were playing well in the bot lane. They got so many plates, and the only question I had was in the mid game, where they decided to put the failures against the Scion. That kind of slowed down the game a lot for Rugby, and Nativz managed to get a shutdown to Aphelios. Jinx managed to get farmed. They did the cross maps well, right? And that's, for me, was just the weird one in that game. I think they should just keep matching the matchups, because Aphelios is so ahead, right? He can do whatever he wants with Jinx. But now Scion had a field day kind of, and we see now again we're going to the draft, and we see again the 2 junglers being brought out. I think both Lee Sin and Volibear has been banned every single game, right?
Yeah, first bans for both teams each game, and the Ornn is also not going to be going back into the hands of Lundorf. And my question is going to be, is Jinx going to find its way onto the ban table? Because, of course, it's been locked in B1 both games it's been available, both times for Yopper and both times were wins for Nativz. So either Munster must have a plan to pick it, or if they're going to ban it away themselves. Viego has also been permanently banned. So jungle, once again, has been the focus. Clock's not going to get his hands onto the Karma. And now will the Jinx find its way on to the ban list for this game? It's actually going to be a dodge. You know, that's fine. Sometimes if someone bans my main, if they're banning Karma, you dodge, you go next. You take the -3 LP. It's good. It's a good tactic. I don't know if it's going to pay off for them. Yeah, because this is, of course, a promotion series. So if you get the L,
it would be really tilting to just dodge the process. Like, just disconnect your computer. Maybe the strat is actually, this is what I do, and I'm not proud of this, but it's who I am. If I was a one trick, I would for sure, if my champ was banned, I would just pick something that is like, for sure, I'm just gonna, everyone knows that I'm not gonna perform well on this champ. And then I hope that they dodge, and I dodge the last second. That's like ultimate scum behavior, but it works. Everyone dodges.
It's the
But,
looking in Teemo Jungle and typing in
yeah,
chat,
legit.
okay,
legit.
I troll.
Yeah,
And then
basically.
they have to dodge for you.
It's disgusting. It's not something I'm proud of, but hey, we are just humans, right? No one is perfect. Not even me. Not even Viper is perfect. Can you imagine? That's
Well,
crazy.
I mean,
I guess.
I play in mid silver, so I just don't dodge. I see the Teemo Jungle in my team. I see the Yasuo types. I'm gonna go 210. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Winnable matchup. I lock in my Braum. We lose the game, and I'm like, I don't know what I expected. But it was
You expect kind of nothing, but you still get disappointed every time.
It really is. It's really
crazy.
like, oh, my Yasuo has died for the 6th time in the first 15 minutes. I don't know why I'm so upset, but honestly, I am quite upset by this series of actions. But
I mean, at that point, don't you just hope for the 0-10 power spike? Like that's there where the real Yasuo mates come in clutch. Like and then you have the copium. You need to have the sort of copium.
They hit the Zen moment of like, it's truly the. Do you remember the house event that we had like 3 years ago on League? Yeah. We had to like choose your house. United all the way. We don't surrender. We just we just ram our bodies into the wall and hope it works out because someone's gonna win. I've got an update from our producer. It's just okay. It just says it's just at Viperin. It doesn't give an update. He doesn't give the update. That's nice. Our lovely product manager. I don't know. He's a very handsome young man by the name of Lucas. Tells me that it's a remake, so we're going to be just going through that as quickly as possible. Hopefully there's a resolution to whatever issue caused the remake to be needed. But we're going to go to Champ Select so we can see exactly what is occurring. And I imagine the bans will be the same up until the point that we got rid, because A, I think that's probably a ruling, and B, that's not going to be too unexpected because all of these bans.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, right? We see now. I'm just kind of surprised. I want to really know. I would like. I know you said we don't have like players interview in the middle of the series, which makes sense. Of course, it makes sense. Like, why would you interview someone in the middle of a series? That's just cruel, honestly. We do see the Jinx ban coming in, but I'm really curious about this Ornn ban, man, because now Lundorf has shown that he's not just a one-trick Ornn when he's playing tank. Like, he can play Sion, he can play Ornn, he can probably play like more tanks because he's showing in his arsenal today that he's not scared to pull them out and just be like, honestly, like I feel like he's kind of carrying, even though he's on a tank. Like, he's playing so well, like he's just soaking so much damage, right? But the Ahri first pick with the Jinx ban coming in, it just I know we saw in the, I don't know if it was the first game or the second game where they really blind picked Ahri. I assume it was the second game, and now they're saying that Ahri is just a pick that you should it should be a force to be reckoned with. And the Graves blind pick now coming in from Snille. Has he been playing all the games? He hasn't, right? But at least 2 games, I think.
It's been at least 2. I believe that we saw him on something different in game number 1. I want to say it was maybe we did play it in game number 1. The historians will have to get back to us on that one because our memories are mush at this stage. But we've got the Ziggs being locked in, whether that's going to be up against the Ahri or down the bot lane for Yotta.
Yeah, and now this kind of what I expected coming into the series. Whenever Nate is on red side, they just try to make, because I think in this series, Merps and Baloo, they have been Baloo has been getting caught kind of in the mid game sometimes, but in lane phase they're kind of still strong. They're solid. And if Joppa can negate this by just picking Ziggs and just kind of scale, I know it's a flex, right? But I assume it's gonna go into the bot side. Then now Nativz can play hard for topside on this red side and make sure that Lundorf gets a counter pick that he's happy with, and then he can snowball the game from there. While Joppa is just casually like just farming bots, right? Just making sure that Merps and Baloo, they cannot really progress the tower a lot, and they're just gonna be happy about that. I see the Kiana over. That's crazy. If that's
gonna get trust these players. These players. I've learned not. Don't you dare! Don't you? Okay, thank you, Nativz. It was close, but no cigar. It's gonna be the Silas actually locked in the mid lane for real, as we're gonna see bans taken off the table. Misfortune is gonna get out of the way. Don't want to be giving that one to Merbs because it was pretty brutal when we saw it in game number 2.
Yeah, no, it was for sure. And I assumed now obviously we know, right? Joppa is gonna go for the 6 unless there's some sort of Silas top, but for sure it's not happening, right? Silas has so many good ultimates this game already. He has the Ahri, has the Hecarim, the Rakan. It's really crazy already. And now they just have to ban out these that are strong. I assume it's gonna be the Aphelios ban, even though 6 is actually kind of decent into this. Oh, they actually banned the Saya. Okay, that's actually even better, I think. And now Merps has to choose. Like, does he go for the Aphelios, which is gonna have... It's gonna be able to scale, right? But Joppa is gonna be able to just kind of neutralize the lane. And or does he go for something really crazy where they can actually like abuse the 2v2 matchup?
Well, that's the question. Whether it's going to be the Sion taken off the table, Lundorf, don't you dare. But that does mean Urgot is available for Stumpy, potentially, if he wants to go for that one to secure it, or if they want to grab their support and give him counter pick. That could also be an option. Whether he thinks he's got a solution to Urgot is going to be another question entirely, just because it could be secured by Munster and top lanes.
Ooh, the Alistar into the
There's always one. There's always one weird pick in Division 2. Obviously, clocks on the Alistar. Now it's up for Munster Rugby what they want to play at marksman and what they want to play top. Leicester going for some really weird flexes around the place. And honestly, for Merbs, the Aphelios is available, but into a Ziggs might not be the best option. And there are a couple more mobile. You've got the Vayne, which they're hovering. Ezreal's also around, but hey, they want to rip through the tanks.
Damn, and the weird thing about this is I don't think Lunder's gonna play a tank in this game. Like, he's just gonna be counter picking whatever Stumpy decides to pick. It could be the Urgot, right? But this time around, Lunder decides he for sure, and probably is not gonna pick GP into the Urgot again, right? I hope this is the lock-in for Stumpy, but it's gonna be really interesting to see now what Lundorf, because now Lundorf kind of decides what happens. I assume already that it's gonna be a top side centric game because of the 6, right? Merps just decides that, hey, you know what, man? You're not gonna abuse me in lane. I'm not gonna abuse you. I'm just gonna pick Vayne and I'm gonna scale to Oblivion, and maybe I can 1v9 later in the game. Urgot, as a blind pick, I have no clue how it is. I assume that JC is gonna win it, but again, we have seen Stumpy win matchups that... I mean, honestly, I guess Urgot, we expected him to win that GP matchup. I don't know much about top, but I heard Viperune and our other... Oh, the Poppy look, you know, it's another tank for Lundorf.
Okay, so this is... certainly 2 sets of champions. This is... It's not going to be Poppy Jungle producer, I don't think. Unless they... Oh, I mean, Graves into Urgot is not bad. And... maybe... This is some wild 4D chess. And you know what? Our producer might be bang on the money there. I love having one-sided conversations with our producer, because I can pretend that he said literally anything I want, because no one can hear him. But he did call for the Poppy to be jungle rather than top, and honestly, it's going to be Lundorf taking the Graves. Genius from Reed once again. That was
a crazy flex, honestly. We did not expect that, for sure. And Poppy just... I mean, when you look at these champs onto rugby, like, it just has insane value. Like, every single one of in rugby has a dash. It's actually crazy. So Snille can make a lot of progress and put value here. But I'm just gonna say though, regardless, Nativz draft, okay, sure, they picked a lot of fun champs. Poppy, they have Graves top, they have Alistar. I still favor Rugby's comp a lot, even though Silas has like a lot of good ultimates. Nativz can though, they're playing. I think they're playing like they're playing better as a team in this series so far. I feel like they've been spot on with how they corner it together and like what lanes they play through. And at Nasher in team fights, they're playing super well. But I do favor Rugby's comp in this game, and I expect us to see a 5th game. But I'm not gonna I was gonna say I'm not gonna jinx it, but I already did, so that blows.
You've already jinxed it. Yeah. I mean, I'm fascinated to see how this Nativz composition works, because currently, no clue what they're meant to be doing. I mean, I imagine it's going to have to be quite an early situation, or they're going to have to get rolling, because they're up against the Vayne and an Urgot, which you don't want to be going past 30 minutes with these 2 enemy champions, because you're not going to survive at all in team fights. So it's going to have to be something a little bit early, a little bit in terms of aggression. And hey, they've got the Alistar down bot side. They've got an opportunity to try and make something work alongside the Ziggs.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. It's not like Ziggs is a pick that you can't go to. And especially when the Herald is coming up, which I assume that if Nativz plays it well, I think they're going to be able to get their hands on it. They have... I do feel like they have the stronger champs for it at 8-minute mark. And maybe then, if they can rotate Ziggs well, or like they can rotate people on the map, for sure, like Ziggs is just so powerful, because you will for sure get the full tower. Then you swap Ziggs to the other side of the map, you keep pressuring the tower. And this is why Ziggs is just so oppressive, right? Because it's hard to make any real progress onto Ziggs unless you do it super early and you just shut him down really hard. Once he gets his his book, his Order of the Phoenix last chapter. Then he just becomes super hard to deal with. He has waves clears, and basically Alistar on these clocks can do whatever he wants. He can just roam the map while Yoppa is just wave clearing, right? And it's gonna be interesting to see, because we said that early game in this series doesn't really matter, I guess. It's just all about the mid game and who gets like control of the Nash. And neither of the teams has built like a large lead in the early game anyway. And maybe that's what Rugby is just betting on this game. They have Vayne, they have the Urgot, they're gonna scale insanely hard.
Yeah, maybe they're thinking, hey, early game hasn't mattered, so let's just build a composition that just does not care about it. The question for me is if this game is going to be the one where it matters, and they're going to have an appalling time when they lose a double kill bot at level 3, and then it's like, oh, well, we've got this Vayne that's now going to do nothing for 20 minutes, and this Ziggs is going to take all of the objectives. But that remains to be seen. Of course, if Nativz win this game, then they are through to the final, and they will condemn Munster Rugby Gaming to the lower bracket. Of course, they're down, but they're not out, because there will be a game on Thursday, and then there'll be another game on Tuesday, and then there'll be a finals on Thursday. I hope I've got the days right. I can't remember from the graphic. I'm sure we'll look at it in post. But we're on to the Rift. Nativz on the red side, Munster Rugby Gaming on the blue. Munster Rugby Gaming on the blue side. 100% win rate for blue side teams this series. We'll have to see if it's a run back or if Nativz can break the curse.
Yeah, blue side just seems really strong, right? As you mentioned. We do see for the first time in the series the level 1 action. Baloo already W'd over the wall and is hoping for Nativz to maybe get caught in this, but they're playing super safe, honestly. It's gonna be rough to get any real progress here onto Lundorf or Snille.
Lundorf just hanging around in that tribe rush, as you mentioned, and Yoppa playing that B-Zig skin. I can't remember what it's called. Is it Buzzigs? Is that?
That would actually make sense, right?
Is that what it's called? They've all got like weird bee pun names, and
yeah.
Who at Riot loves bees? Like who? There must be like one artist who's like, now hear me out. Every year they release them.
It's crazy, actually. I just looked it up. It's B followed by 3 Zs and then. I
mean that works.
Zigs. That's crazy. I mean, I kind of think that those skins are actually nice though. Like the B-Maw, I like this one a lot. He actually clocks as the B emote as well. As I'm saying this though, they're kind of fighting level 1 already, but Yoppa strikes back onto Mervs. Good damage. Yeah,
decent return damage as Blue is going to keep just putting some damage onto clogs. Remember everyone, this is one of the cliches of League of Legends, but if you're against a tank in the early game, a tank support I should say, hit them. Hit them hard, because they're not tanky at level 1, by and large. So, going to be getting some onto Alistar. It's going to dissuade him a little bit from wanting to go for these engages, because he knows that if he takes another couple of trades like that, he's going to die. And you really cannot afford to let Vayne get an early kill, because if Merbs gets the first blood, or even just a couple pre-15 minutes, things could get out of hand pretty fast.
And Merbs actually went for like a bit more laning runes. Like usually you would expect the Vayne to take like lethal tempo and just go full scaling, but he actually has breath of the attack. Now I'm saying this, they get 2 at the same time. There's a lot of
aggression. Both of them go in, but Clocks is going to be the one that just takes the last couple of autos. We saw on the top side, Lundorf and Stumpy both flashing. Neither of them achieving very much, but good to know that both of them flashed. As we're keeping our eyes on the bot lane, where two teams, they very much shown that they like scrapping in the early game throughout this series, and this game 4 is no different.
And I think this actually favors Rugby somehow, because they still have the push in the lane. And what you like, the ideal for Ziggs is just literally do nothing the first 6 minutes of the game. You get your loss after, and then you're kinda good. But now, when they're trading so heavily, Yoppa is forced to use a lot of mana. He's gonna not be able to like just stay in the lane how long as he wants. He's gonna be forced to like maybe use his TP early. And then that's like where Merbs and the rest of Rugby can look to punish. Hecarim actually already moving in. He has done his full clear already. There's a gank happening on. Damn, Chimera has to blow his flash really early.
Yeah, Chimera losing out on that flash. Of course, at a couple of levels, it'll be much less daunting because the ultimate will be picked up. But still, they once again just helping Silas push out that mid lane and get a decent lane state. But meanwhile, in the jungle, the invaders are causing a ruckus. But
Nativz is not even here yet, though. It could be a big fight here.
This could be a big fight. Snille is in trouble. He has got some assistance from Yoppa and from Clocks. The damage coming down is big. Who goes for first blood? It's going to be secured by the Ari. As Munster Rugby Gaming grab it on to the Silas, not even in the skirmish.
That's crazy. Just again, off cam, we see the collapse, which is impressive, right? Camara just got ganked. And then he kind of wins that fight for Rugby by killing his opponent, so make sure that really can't move into the fight in this. And Baloo now is... What, Baloo? Hello?
I don't know if Snille wanted to see Baloo right there. He flashes back over the wall, and Clocks is just gonna...
He's gonna chase him, actually. That's no flash, that's nothing.
Gets the stun, but it's going to be Murbs in support because there's no one there, and Clocks has realized, hey, wait a second, I lose this fight, I'm going to leave. Stunned against the wall, Snille's there. Now we get the other solo kill in the mid lane, the other direction, as Snille picks up the buckler. Really not interested in partaking because of that big minion wave. I'm not really sure what to make of that play.
Like, I have no clue what is going on, man. Like, there's so many things happening. They invade, that has been going on for a minute straight. We see Chimera solo killing Rille. Just after that, he gets solo killed himself and Rille TP's back. We're gonna get a replay. Oh, Rille actually, he actually is basing on a ward precisely. He doesn't even, wait, he's buying items at this point. Like, he's...
Oh, it's not in, he's in shot.
Oh, that's a bummer. That's a tilter. And
that
then...
is certified tilter.
This fight just keeps happening. Baloo wants to get up, but this Baloo has been so crazy this time. Actually, I guess here he just got knocked out. Clock's kind of playing it well there, but in the end, no one dies except for the... It's so crazy that all the action was in the bot side, where no one died, but the two people in mid died at the same time that we were watching the fights erupt in the bot side of the jungle. That's crazy. So much action in this early game already. Holy moly!
And once again, we've had action early in every game. This situation is what we call cursed as observers, because you watch the team fight. Our producer obviously watching the big team fight where all the champions going low.
Yeah.
Misses both kills, because why are people solo killing each other mid while this is happening? Like, it just shouldn't be happening. But Clocks, once again, is just wandering around, as you mentioned. He's going to be very happy just to roam, and as soon as the Lost Chapter is picked up, which has been secured by Yoppa now, he can sit back and farm quite safely, and opens up the map for the Alistair to get around and try and make things happen. However, Gaboosh is now moving in, and the Ziggs could be in trouble if he decides to stick around. And
this is the con of playing Ziggs, right? You are you can get dove very easily. When I say this, no, Chimera's getting dove, and he's just getting one-tapped. Clocks gets the kill, which is a bit unlucky, but you have to imagine that maybe Rugby wanted to go for like a bot play, but they're so late, and Gabush decides to base, and this is where Yoppa just really shines, right? He's just wave clearing. What can they can't really do anything, and Clocks is just free to roam the map.
Well, that's the thing, because the payoff for having Clocks around is usually your bot lane's unsafe, you don't get farm, you maybe get dove. But Ziggs is able just to sit back, prevent the wave from being shoved in, so isn't going to get dove very effectively. And Clocks is now back in lane like nothing happened, but he secured himself a kill and gave mid lane a lot of breathing room and pressure to go for a nice recall himself. So Nativz in the early game, maybe having the more success, whether that's cursed or not, we'll find out. So far in the series it has been, but Lundorf just pushing in a top tower, getting himself some gold, having a very comfortable time into Stumpy's Urgot.
Yeah, silently just building a lead here while all the action is happening around mid and bot. And I mean, kind of expected this, right? Grace just being a counter onto the Urgot, presumably, right? Lundorf is picking it into the Urgot, and again, he just has been building himself kind of a comfortable lead. He's just gonna be keep scaling here. Clocks again, though, is roaming around mid. So much action here, and I assume just now that Vayne should just be alone on bot, wanting the 6 while everything is happening onto the mid, because it's so important to get like mid control in this game already.
And Munster now trying to rotate as a unit up towards the Rift Tower with lots of pings coming down onto it. Lundorf and Clocks are up topside though, trying to gain some pressure and priority. And Clocks, actually Metal Gear Solid, finds his way into the bush unseen. However, Stumpy's not really interested in playing that game because he's just going to hang around and prevent any kind of rotation down. Relay and Snille are looking for an opportunity to contest, but Clocks is up there, but can't get involved in this play. So I think the Rift Tower is just going to go over the way of Munster Rugby Gaming, which will give them the opportunity to find their way some gold. And with themselves only being at about 1,000 in deficit right now, this could be all they need to get back onto level playing fields.
Really important there, honestly, for Rugby to actually get that herald. If they manage to get that on the side of Nativz, then they can just pop it wherever 6 is, and they can just move, as I mentioned before the game, right? They can just snowball the game out of control. I was thinking for sure that Nativz would fight it, but I guess as you mentioned, the Clocks was just looking for a pick in the top side, and he could never really enter the fight, which just basically gives Rugby the herald for free. They're also gonna get this blue buff for free, by the looks of it, maybe even try to go for the Drake, but Snill is now moving into the bot side. We will see another fight here.
We're going to, and once again it's the mid laners who started up with a lot of the damage. Blue buff is going low. Yoppa throwing some bombs down, trying to get as much as he can. Nice ultimate onto Baloo, but Kaboosh is going to be the one who goes lowest of all, trying to get away, smited and killed as Yoppa secures that one. Now Nativz are looking to run down members of Munster Rugby Gaming, chasing them away from the Dragon. It's an Ocean to start us up this time around. Again, a very late take on the first Dragon, but it should be Nativz that secure it, although Merbs and Baloo are still alive, looking up towards the area, but they will decide against.
Yeah, no business in contesting that. Well, I think Lundorf also actually moved from top after pushing his wave in, which is something, again, I just love to see this whenever either bot lane or top lane they're pushing in their waves, because there are so many players who are just standing in the bush. Maybe they're not really doing much. Sure, they're like kind of putting like a blind pressure, but actually moving to do something when you know you're not going to lose much anyways. This is just the way to go, and it makes sure that maybe in that fight they didn't really need him to win, right? They were winning anyways, but there are cases where you can actually get a lot out of going to that fight. They do decide that they're just gonna keep sending Clocks top, honestly. Like, Yoppa is just super happy again, just scaling for free. He's getting solo XP while Clocks is pressuring the map, and they have to respect this Alistar so much, right? Because they only know that he's not on bot side, but he could be like anywhere, mid or top, and Stumpy has had to respect this a lot. Look, he can't really pressure the wave.
And Stumpy's just going to be clearing out as Clocks again just pitched a tent and is camping top.
This is so frustrating if I'm Stumpy, because I'm for sure not expecting this star, right? And now he's not.
Oh no, and he's going to get headbutted back away and needs to flash to try and escape, gets stunned up regardless. And with the Ignite running, will take a whole heap of damage. Doesn't die, but it's going to be forced to recall.
Yeah, no, he will be forced to. He's gonna force the TP, right? Which is, again, Nativz not losing anything by doing this. Vayne they can't just cross map. They have to keep match this Alistar. They have to make sure that Baloo is just unleashed on the map. He's level 6 before Clocks, obviously, because Clocks has just been roaming the map perma. So now I just really want to see again Yoppa being 1v1 with his Merps. Oh, we see Baloo now going for a fight of his own.
Lundorf is super dead, no mana, no way out, and Stumpy's going to be given over the kill, the first of many potentially for the Urgot.
I mean, we can only hope so, right? Because this is like, again, the shining light for Rugby. Merps, again, just gonna be scaling freely into this Yoppa, and again, this is what you have to do, right? Because you can't just bash your head into the wall and try to force something on bot, because it's just impossible against the 6. I wonder now, though, if they're gonna try to dive the Merps that is solo, but it looks like he's gonna get backup from his team, so it should be all good.
See where the next battlefield lies as Nativz find themselves again with a very minor lead. Have the Clocks back in the bot lane for the first time in a long time as Yoppa level 9 already, sitting alone, begging XP and gold.
It's the same level as Ori. That's kind of, again, just impressive, right? They do decide to just put this Herald down. It's 5 plates. They're just gonna get 2 plates for this. There's no other way, but they want to make sure that Merps is getting the resource that he needs in this game. Oh, I'm not even sure if he got gold for that. That would be a tilter if he didn't, but again, there's 1 minute left on the plates. They have to put it somewhere, so they might as well just put it bot and get some gold for themselves. Lundorf now, again, is silently building a lead on the top side 1v1, despite being ganked. Is still up in farm, has gotten some plates to his name, and let's see if Baloo is once again caught here. Maybe he is.
He gets grounded, so he can't go over the wall. He's going to get stunned up as well. That's disastrous as Snille picks up the kill.
And Baloo, once again, I mean, I respect it. He's on these solo missions where it can be really good if you're not getting caught, because you just get free vision on that side of the map, right? And then it's so much easier to play. But now he gets caught. Merps has to respect on this next wave. Yoppa might even get a plate, although Baloo is such a low level that his respawn timer is not that not that high, right? And he's just gonna be able to walk down to the boss side again. The game is kind of slowing down a bit now. I feel like the early game was so explosive. Now both teams are there for sure, not scared to take a fight. Right, if they see it, they will go for it. But it's not as explosive, which I think kind of favors Rugby already. Merbs has not been able to do anything proactive, right? But he's playing Vayne. He doesn't want to do that. He's just completely scaling. Stumpy now has the hull breaker. Maybe he can start to fight back with the Graves, who has the Eclipse, so armor is very valuable into him.
He's going to have to get a little bit tanky, which with the hull breaker, when he's alone, certainly, of course, has the boots as well, will be exceptionally useful. Question being if Munster send people up towards top side, if they're talking more about skirmishing towards those heralds, things don't look as bright and breezy for the Urgot. However, we've seen Stumpy play Urgot in game number 2. Was not a solo carry performance, but that's only because the rest of his team was playing fine as well. He was definitely the shining light protagonist in that series. And now the question being, he's got his pajamas on, he's ready to go to bed. But Stumpy, buddy, you need to win 2 games if you want to go to bed on the back of a series win. As Gaboosh has his ultimate stolen, and this could be pretty problematic, but Munster have support in the mid lane. Stumpy scuttling on by as the dragon will spawn Hex Tech for the second, and now Baloo looking for the engagement. It's a messy one. A lot of damage comes on through. Nativz in a shambles. Needs to try to escape, but won't be able to do so. They lose, really. They might lose clocks too, as Yoppa's called out by Merbs. That's the Vayne securing the kill on one side. Lundorf goes down on the other. Pretty sure he will fall. It's a double for the Vayne as Clocks somehow escapes.
I thought that Poppy would get so much value there. They had all were pretty much clumped up. Snilly could have so much value with his W, but Baloo's not scared. He knows that even if Snilly managed to get W off his W, then they have so many more tools to work with on the side of Rugby, and that was just a perfect fight. They were just clumped up all in there, and Gabwesh gets a perfect ultimate, and after that it's just cleanup crew, right? Merbs get a double kill, and now he's officially online. He's probably gonna get the bot tower as well, honestly. He is gonna grief the tempo by doing this, but I think it could be worth for him because he just gets so much gold. I assume he's gonna get a replay of that. That fight was insane. As you said, it was messy at the start, but looks so one-sided for Rugby.
Yeah, it's a nice engage, but now you just see the health bars just drop. Stumpy with the assassination pulling in really as well. And there was just no opportunity for Nativz to do anything. Their backline was so split up, and Merbs grabbing a double could be quietly very, very impactful in this game moving forward.
Yeah, and now there's like, he can just keep being side. I expect Chimera to just stay on the mid lane, and I was actually going to talk about this as well. They have like Silas and the 6, right? Going with Zen second item would make a lot of sense, and it looks like Merbs is just going to go for it, which means that he's going to be able to 1v1 at least Joppa and Rille, maybe even Lundorf once he can finish his second item. Vayne is just so powerful in his 1v1, and now the game is looking in Rugby's favor, but Stumpy has so much damage already with his team. He's gonna solo kill Lundorf.
Oh, Lundorf is actually going to be killed by Merbs, who rolls in for the last hit, and now we talked about it, the first of many for the Urgot. Stumpy might be rolling again.
Basically, I'm just gonna say that was a solo bolo. I don't care. Merbs just kill steal it, but the fight's actually not even over.
Yeah. But they're going to be able to catch the Ari. Nice double knockup as well. Zig's ultimate provides some damage as Chimera falls, but now Merbs is here as well, looking to rip through members of Nativz. 1 fool, 2 fool as Clocks goes down for the double, but now Gaboosh is in a problematic position. Yoppo looking to throw some bombs down, won't be able to get the kill as Silas moves forward, will be able to secure it in the end as Baloo and Merbs in full retreat. Can they find the Vayne? Can they find the shutdown? The slow is only on to Baloo. Comes forward. Stumpy's behind them now. They need to fight forward. They're going true Merbs. They're trying to get a kill, but won't be able to find it as he runs behind Stumpy, who's there to protect the AD carry. Nativz turn the fight around, but was it enough?
Crazy MVP performance by Rille there. He gets so much for his team. He gets the shutdown onto the Hecarim. He gets another kill onto Baloo, and I thought when Stumpy's TP came in there, I thought they were just gonna ace them. They were gonna just clean up the fight, but Rille and Joppa knew that the TP was coming in. They had to just keep kite forward and keep fighting, and they just fought their way out of that. So, as you mentioned in the beginning of that fight, was it enough? Rugby they still got what they wanted, kind of. They got a double kill. They got a lot of summoners forced, and Merbs again he got 1 kill there. He's really happy. He just keeps scaling. He's gonna finish his wit's end by the next base, I'm pretty sure, and he's gonna be a monster in this side lane. There's no one that's gonna be able to deal with him, I think.
We've heard that one before in games, so the top lane has really just been taking over this series. Not everything has been impacted by Stumpy and Lundorf, but they've had their fingers in a lot of pies as Merb should be able to secure this tower. More gold to the Vayne, who is going to be abjectly terrifying as we move further forward. But Relay, of course, going to be able to grab himself the return on the bot side. So Nativz find themselves at deficit once again. And Munster, with the tools that we saw them win with in game number 2, throw down a Rift Herald on the top side. And Lundorf actually going to be in a lot of trouble here as he sets forward to try and remove it, and will just lose his life as Yopper looks to get some damage and a clear, but Baloo's on the side, threatening a flank. And that means that the inner goes down. Baron's going to be up in 20 seconds. The Rift Herald will be dead before that time. But Munster Rugby Gaming struggle to see what Nativz are going to be able to do in the next few minutes to get themselves back onto parity, because so many tools from Munster and they're all playing very well.
And this is what we talked about, right? Like Nativz have 5 like kind of champs that are good individually. Like they have the Seeks that take wave clear, they have the Alistar can roam a lot, and they have Grace which is good into Urgot in the 1v1, but I just feel like the combo of Rugby is just way more solid. Now Vayne is completely online, and I don't see anyhow that despite Poppy being so oppressive in this game, he hasn't been able to like make like a complete difference, you know, because again, Rugby has so many tools, there's so many different threats, and it's so hard for Nativz to deal with all of them because their comp is a bit like Luster, I would say. I'm still not sure what they want to do. I guess they just want to play through side with this fed Silas, and in an ideal scenario they would like Lundorf to be fed as well, right? But now it's just they're kind of forced to play for these fights, which is kind of for sure in Rugby's favor. The Mountain Drake now spawning. Are we gonna see a fight, or is Clocks just gonna try to camp in the bush again here with Rill and make a pick? They are gonna start it though, so we're gonna see a fight probably.
Flank, but they're caught out by Stumpy, who's seen them go, slows down the Silas, but it gives Munster Rugby timing enough to get away. They could look for the steal, they could look for the engage as Nativz move themselves back down river. Dragon will be taken off the table though in the darkness, and Munster Rugby Gaming nothing else to fight over, but maybe just looking for the engage as Murbs is hanging around. Chimera's on the side, but they're all just hanging around in that bush. This will be an engage from Clocks. They're going to throw down the 6 bomb. It's going to hit absolutely no one, as now members of Nativz in so much trouble. Caught from the side, grabbed in, ground up. And it's going to be Chimera straight forward. Can't find anything else. Nativz only lose Clocks in the end. They into hamburgers by Urgot. But they will be able to get themselves the dragon.
That's crazy. I thought they would all get ace there. It looked so grim for Nativz, as you mentioned. The Six ulti goes kind of wide. Also only gets his combo on to grab Wesh, who is just hacking, right? He's completely happy with that. In the end, as you mentioned, Clocks is the only person going down from Nativz. And they also get the Drake, so like not too bad from Nativz. I thought for sure that Rugby was going to be able to get the setup onto that Drake, but that's the thing with League sometimes, is that even though maybe your team comp is a bit like Luster, maybe enemy team is stronger, tempo is so important, and tempo is again just being first on the objective, being first on the play, and that just secures Drake for Nativz there for sure. We're gonna see now, Vayne is still just chilling on the side. There, if they want, they can do this Nash really fast again with this Vayne, and I guess that's what they're gonna be pressuring now. Just keep push in the lanes, push mid, push top, push bot, and just force the Nash, as Nativz have been so good at doing in the past, but now they have to play defensively.
They're looking for a pick. Snille going to deny it, and actually going to get a stun right back, but Clocks goes low, needs to run. Yopper and the teleport might be enough, but they're going to turn directly onto the 6. Relay's there, Lundorf's there. Can they make a catch before the teleport completes from Munster Rugby Gaming? No, they can't, as Snille sends him packing. It will still be a 4v5. Your Stumpy's going to take a little bit of time. The 6 ultimate this time around only hits 1, but again, it's not doing enough damage. But Lundorf on the side manages to pick up the first kill of the fight. Now moving forward, nice Clocks, triple knockup, but will it be enough security kills? Here comes Silas. It's a double kill for Vayne, who's still alive in the back line, goes invisible, should get another. Looking towards Silas. The chains don't land, but the healing is big as Lundorf moves forward, looking for Murbs, but Murbs is dipping, diving, weaving, surviving as Stumpy picks up a double. They can move towards Baron. It's an ace for Munster Rugby Gaming, and they might be sending us towards a 5th match.
Merz played that fight super well. He was kiting right to the left. He was dodging almost every single ability that he could. He flashed in perfect timing to make sure he didn't get comboed and by Alistar and Grace at the same time. And they're just going to be able to pick up this Nash. Unfortunately, in the beginning of that fight, Snilly got an insane ultimate onto Stumpus. He was late to that, but he managed to clean up regardless. He got a double kill, and now they get the Nash, and we have seen what these teams do with the Nash. They just want to end the game fast. Snilly in the beginning of this just gets kind of caught, right? But the Ziggs ulti again goes kind of wide, but somehow Chimera gets one-tapped, and then it's just kind of the Merp show here. He's just kiting so heavily.
Yeah, he goes so low, but manages to stay alive, just dips away. The Silas, of course, is the real threat. The chains missing is so big, massive micro dodge there from Merbs, who then just steps away from Lundorf and allows Stumpy to come through to finish up the fight. But now Munster have Baron, as you mentioned. Teams don't mess around, and with Stumpy, very scary. 5-0-3 on the Urgot once again. I think if we get to a game number 5, that will be banned again. You've got to imagine, as Nativz are going to have to put on a show to defend, and honestly, I don't see how they can do it.
Has he died? Did he die a single time when he played Urgot in the second game?
I think he might have died once, but I think we might see the Poppy diving as we see Kaboosh going into the backline. Massive overextension. He's going to go down, shut down by Yopper, but he goes the same way as Chimera steps forward for the kill. And that's a trade that you're probably willing to take, as Lundorf on the side can do absolutely nothing against Stumpy alone, as the Urgot has to move back away from the tower. But those Hullbreaker Baron minions are crushing objectives, as Lundorf just pushing it away, trying to force it back away from the objective. As Chimera steps forward into mid lane, barring up those minions as well. This could be a mid lane tower going down, but Chimera is sent packing. Or will be Merb securing the inhibitor tower, though I imagine the inhibitor will actually stand, and so will the tower for now, as members of Nativz moving forward, maybe looking towards the pick. Baloo is half health, and Lundorf is there to give the numbers advantage if he's quick. And it actually will be the engage coming through from Baloo. Nice stun down onto Baloo, but can they get the kill? The Rakan is quick, and he's going to be able to just dodge away with his ultimate.
Perfect W there from Baloo, just seizes both clocks and really to make sure it can't get finished off. Really good Nash usage there of Rugby. I think they could have gotten more. Like, this mid tower was standing. I think Chimera was willing to back off there because he was scared of the flank, right? But I think this tower could have fallen. Regardless, though, a good Nash from Rugby. They are now sitting steady 7k ahead. Vayne is 3 items. He already has the Rage Blade, and it's so hard to deal with this Vayne, honestly, because there is not really a threat on the enemy team that can. I mean, Mirps has to make a huge mistake to be able to get caught in this fight, and even then, he has the shield bow, he has his ulti, his flash is gonna come up very soon. It's so hard to deal with, and it feels like they're just outscaled at this point.
And the question being is if you're not scaling particularly well, or not as well as a Vayne and Urgot.
Yeah, that is the question, right? I think the answer is pretty simple to that one as well. Stumpy and Merz both just having kind of a pop-off performance, and even though the Nash is done, the Rugby is not done with their sieging of this. Wow, Cloxius gets really shanked. They didn't even have ulti in that fight, and I mean, now you could assume that the game is still gonna be somewhat slow unless there's a fight erupts right now, but I assume that Rugby would need another Nash to make sure that they end this game. It's kind of hard for their champs to siege. Vayne doesn't have the best range. It's kind of hard to just walk up to the 6, right? Even though 6 is super behind at this point compared to the Vayne. It's not like Vayne can just walk up to the tower and hit him in the face, right? So for sure gonna need another Nash. They will secure the Drake. Actually, they did 1 minute ago. I didn't even realize. That's kind of crazy. But our focus is gonna be on this Nash for sure, unless a fight erupts soon.
Unless they want to try and force through, because a pick might be enough for them to break open the base and get some inhibitors, because while Nativz are in a bit of a rough situation, having the base standing does give them some solace. It allows Yopper to quite easily clear out waves for the next few minutes. But I've got the question whether this 6 is going to be able to have an impact, because the last couple of ultimates have gone wide, and I don't know even if they land how much of a change they're going to make with champions like Merv being able to dive away. Yopper can dive away so easily. Stumpy doesn't care at this stage on the Urgot. How Ziggs is going to be able to even impact the game.
And it's so rough, right? Because with Ziggs you want something like a Nautilus, something that can really lock people down, and others are sure he can do that in some regard, but wait, before I say this, Stumpy, he's going to be another solo bolo.
I think he needs to use the ultimate, just steps forward and secures the kill, and now that pressure's going to have to be taken by someone else. It's Yopper who goes in just to clear out the last of that wave, but it really opens up Munster Rugby to just move forward and stretch a Nativz Finn, because now without the top laner, without the Graves to help clear, The inhibitor tower is forfeit. The inhibitor may well go the same way unless Munster decide to move up towards that top side. Chimera's already there getting the wave in. You can see Stumpy on the bot side. It's a 1-3-1 from days gone by. And Stumpy's going to make it look quite easy just to bring some pressure in as Munster decide rather than going for the inhib, they're going to move towards the top lane tower. The ultimate from Ziggs is burnt. Doesn't even kill the entire minion wave. That's how far behind he is as the second inhibitor tower falls. Stumpy on the bot side might be able to get the inhibitor first of the game. Actually, it's going to be Munster on the top side grabbing it, but Stumpy's soon to follow. And just like that, the base is broken. They're going to try and go for an engage, but there's so much damage going down onto the Poppy. He's going to be deleted as Kaboosh finds it on the way out. Merv now is dancing around, but is on his own. Gets away once again and secures the kill onto Silence. Moving forward through this fight, ebbing and flowing, securing more. And I think that is going to be curtains. We're going to Silver Scrapes in the upper bracket final as Munster Rugby Gaming take down Nativz.
That's crazy. Merv's just flashing into kind of 3 people there, but he knows his limits. He knows he's gonna be able to survive that. He has Baloo, who is not scared to help him out, and honestly, like, that was just perfect execution of the 1-3-1. They've kind of forced Nativz to make a decision. Okay, guys, we either fight here or we're gonna lose the game, just slowly, right? And they just decide to rather just try to force a fight. And obviously, they're already completely outscared at this point. Vayne can do whatever she wants, and honestly, this was the biggest draft if I've seen in this series so far. I feel like both in all 3 games prior to this, both teams have had like an identity and they can like decide what they want to play for, and it's actually like kind of gameplay wise that they decide who wins. And in this game, of course, you can mention that the times where Rugby like that Baloo engaged on before the Drake, for example, when they just got caught, right? That's just a good play from Baloo and Rugby in particular. But I just felt like the draft this game was something for sure they have to look into, because they had 5 champions that are, I guess, individually good, but as a team, they don't really synergize. They can't really have any lockdown. Alistar, once again, with Ziggs is kind of suboptimal. Nativz, it's what they want with Ziggs, but Rugby was a smart way to bend that away. So, I mean, kudos to them. They really prepped this game well. And as you mentioned, we're going to Silver Scrapes, man. It's so hype.
We're going to that 5th game, and which of these teams will go through to the final, we don't know just yet, but we're going to find out after the break.